What's up, everybody? Scott here. So in today's video, I want to answer a question that I actually saw in a Facebook group. So there was a big discussion about someone saying, what's the difference between treating someone with anxiety compared to treating someone with weight loss? And this was a question that was in the group that had the most amount of responses. So I want to sort of throw my hat into the ring when it comes to this. So the responses were sort of differentiated from, well, anxiety is not as big as weight loss. You want to charge more for weight loss, less with anxiety. Some people were saying it's really the same thing. Some people have some really out there views, which is fine, about how to answer this question. The way I look at it like this: if you're putting pressure on yourself as a therapist or a coach, you're not going to perform that well. And what I mean by pressure is, as soon as you start categorizing that, let's say, weight loss is a bigger problem than anxiety, or anxiety is a deeper problem than stop smoking. Stop smoking is easier to work with rather than, like driving phobias. You are now categorizing symptoms. A smoking client, weight loss client, anxiety clients, these are symptoms. And as soon as you start to categorize these symptoms into one's bigger or one's deeper than the other, one's harder to work with, one's easier to work with, now you're presuming a lot of things. You don't know what your client's problem is until you do a proper investigation phase. There is no point thinking or putting pressure on yourself or making it harder on yourself to think, well, I can't work with anxiety because that's a deeper problem, more of a psychological problem than weight loss, because these are all symptoms. So one thing you guys can actually do is stop categorizing problems as being big or small, easier or harder to work with, and just go into every session, just like I did, and what we teach all our students, and this really helped them as well. Go into every session not presuming anything, because you can't presume anything. These are all symptoms. So I never went into a session thinking, oh, well, I hope this is going to be easier or harder than the last one. No, because I don't know what the real problem is. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, what I'm going to be saying, what problem I'm going to be helping, until I figure out, by asking my client the investigation phase questions, by asking my client what their problem is. And by the time they get to telling me their actual real problem, most of the therapy is done. If you've followed our Conversational Therapy Strategy webinar, which I'll leave below, it's an actual video I have in this YouTube channel, that statement will make more sense. But never go into a session thinking one problem is going to be harder than the other. Don't ever pick a niche based on one problem being harder or easier than the other, because these are all symptoms. You don't know what you're going to help your client with until you do the investigation. So if you find yourself struggling with that answer, trying to figure it out, you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, and you are actually making it a lot harder than what it needs to be. I look at all problems are the same. They all start the same. The solutions are the same. I've just got to get our client into a place where they can find that solution, but I don't know what the problem is until I ask them and get past all that symptom stuff that they're going to tell me. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that answers that question in that group. And guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.